Shabbat Shalom. Since I couldn't be present at the one of the One Human meeting after my June-July trips, I think I'd like to give some updates of what I done for summer months and how the One Human prayer breakfast held in Ukraine and our plans for the end of the year. During June, we had three One Human prayer breakfasts in 3 cities of Ukraine, in the west of Ukraine. 2 cities were new for us. They are Ternopil and Chernivtsi. And the third one was the city of Uzhhorod, where we held a few One Human prayer breakfasts. The atmosphere and the topics we shared with our pastors from Messianic denomination churches and the Christian churches were how One Human is developed and how the current situation influence the situation in churches concerning One Human. The situation in those cities are different. For example, in Ternopil, there are only 150 Jews for the city of more than 100,000 people. They said there is a Messianic congregation, but we didn't meet and we didn't know about them. But they say the best 2 cities were Chernivtsi, where we have had good connections with Chernivtsi Messianic churches, 2 Messianic churches, and a few Christian churches. We had a nice meeting with about 12 pastors. There were 2 Messianic rabbis in that meeting. Christian pastors were opened. We could talk about anti-Semitism. We could talk about the reading Bible and interpretation Bible by Jews, and how we can live together, and how 2 different parts can be one. Like Bible consists of 1-2 books, but they are one book. Then in July, I went to different cities, Vinnytsia, and you saw pictures from the variety of the locations where I was. The situation, for example, in Vinnytsia is hard. Christian churches, they don't have good relations among themselves. And they, as far as I understood from the Messianic rabbi, that they don't want to have good relations or to have friendship with Messianic church. So One Human prayer breakfast could be a good platform for, like, we will be outsiders to come there next year. We plan to have One Human prayer breakfast in the city of Vinnytsia, to be a platform where sides which don't follow or don't get along with each other could get together. So my visit in the city was fruitful, and we know what to do and how to bring together different parts in one body. Then I visited and I had One Human prayer breakfast in the city of Odessa, but with more than 10 pastors from different denominations, Charismatics, Pentecostals, Lutheran, and 1 Messianic congregation. Unfortunately, the situation in Odessa is quite difficult. There are 3 pastors' fellowships, and you should be a good politician, how to avoid any conflicts and to be friend to all of these 3 fellowships. Anyway, we had One New prayer breakfast, and you know, every time after I share vision, I was asked by pastors, what is the problem? We don't have any conflicts with Messianic Jews. Let them do their work, we'll do our own work. And then they answered their own questions about we don't have any conflicts. It turned out they have misunderstanding or being a big brother for Messianic congregations, or putting things in, following the theory of replacement unconsciously or in different ways. But I'm glad that I didn't need to answer them. They answered themselves later during the conversation. I didn't bring something new about connecting with each other, bringing one body into parts. But it looks to me that Roman 1:16 read out loud first part. But the last part, like first Jew and then Greek or Gentile, reading or very quietly or dropped out in our churches, unfortunately. So our goal was not to bring theology, but bring connections and relations. So we did well in both cities, Vinnytsia and Odessa. Then I went to the city of Dnipro, from where we went to Kryvyi Rih, and we had fruitful and good conversations during one New Man prayer breakfast with different denominations in that city. And I see that our partner and friend, Andrei Schmeitzer, from the Rebbe from the city of Dnipro, he has a good job there. He works well among these denominations, and we had good fruitful prayer breakfast there with a lot of questions, and even there were one traditional Messianic Jew, and I sent you the picture of this brother who was glad that we could have one human prayer breakfast in the city of Kryvyi Rih. Then we had one human prayer breakfast in the city of Dnipro, and there was the most kind of conflicting and most provocative questions were asked. I was asked, and the speakers were asked. But we have a good broad Christian pastor who spoke about on his own topic and during that meeting, and he answered in lovely manner to those who questioned the Messianic streamline in Ukraine, and why do Messianics need to have different separate churches. Let them go into Christian churches. They are the same like us. They are Christians. Why do they need to be separated themselves and have their own ministry? And then another one of the negative things I heard during this trip, that unconsciously pastors, they believe in their superiority towards Messianic congregations. It's not the common thing, but it happens. They still believe that a Jew killed Christ and killed first believers in the early church with collaborating with Romans. That let Messianic Jew preach gospel to Messianic, and we will do the most of the work. We are the church, and we are the main part of what God is doing right now. We are going to have in October one human prayer breakfast in October in Hungary, and then in November we are going to finish with one human prayer breakfast in the city of Dnipro and the city of Lviv, gathering up to 30 pastors from different denominations, from Messianic congregations. We are going to have 2-day one human prayer breakfast. We'll meet on the eve of one human prayer breakfast, meeting with pastors and watching movie about foundation of Israel, how Christians and Jews work together to put the foundation of Israel as a state. And then next day we'll be having 3 speakers talking about history, about different topics on one new man. Then we'll be having a Holocaust tour, or visiting a museum of Holocaust in the city of Dnipro, for example. And I'd like all, and I will request or will ask pastors to bring their questions and their comments. I want them to be not only the listeners, but to be an active parts of our One Human Prayer practice, to participate and to ask not comfortable questions, our speakers or even each other, and to find out the truth which is in the Lord. And again, I would like to connect them to have good relations, and that they will want to come back. Also, there will be delegates from Belarus for these two final, this year final prayer breakfast. That I would like to meet with coordinators in Hungary with perspective coordinators, that they can run One Human Prayer breakfast in Hungary and Belarus, and later in Baltic countries.